trying to steady itself, new executives, bold promises, and this push to convince Nigerians that they are ready for a real comeback in 2027. But then you look at Taraba, you look at Adamawa, Plateau, or Osun River State, and it's a completely different story. Plus, Governor Agbu Kefas, a PDP governor in a PDP stronghold, is now set to cross over to the APC. His absence at the Ibadan convention raised eyebrows, and his planned defection next week is already reshaping conversations across the state. So what does all of this mean? What do they really mean for both parties, and how might it change the political mood heading into 2027, Shola?
Yeah, indeed. We have some per guest to give some perspectives to this. Lawyers, I would say. We have Dr. Sam Amadi. Dr. Sam Amadi is a lawyer. He's a public and policy affairs analyst. We also have, joining us to give a perspective, Sir Leonard Ayogo. He's also a lawyer. So, gentlemen, thank you for coming on the AIT News Hour.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, so let's start with you, Dr. Amadi. Dr. Amadi, the issues around the PDP, we can see clearly that so many things have occurred in the last couple of hours. What's your description of what occurred in Ibadan? Talking about the suspensions and the expulsions and all the issues we're hearing around how the party will sort itself out.
Well, thank you for having me. Ibadan does not cure the main problem of PDP, which is that it's a party in severe instability. But first, the convention itself, the legal status is being debated around, whether it was held in contravention of judicial order or in furtherance of judicial. So that's one issue to sort out, what is the status of that convention. I'm taking the view in another broadcast that it seems to me to be legal because of the last order that came from Oyo State. And again, most of the party's leadership were there. The BOT, most of the NWC. So whereas the court will determine finally the status of that event, I think the election of new officers creates some level of stability. And, now we can say if this convention holds that PDP now has new leadership that can try to bring people together and drive a transformation. Again, they remove the expulsion of leading members, particularly the Minister of FCT, is one that, like I argued, has to be based on the rules of the party. Of course, the convention is the highest decision-making body of any political party. So if the convention is properly arranged, the convention can't suspend or expel a member through due process. What's the implication of this? Well, it will bring some sanity. Look, the point is clear. If some members of PDP have invested in Tinubu's continuing as president, and of course, clearly say they're going to vote for Tinubu, then they should leave the party, because essentially, it's in public interest that we have democracy based on opposition. I mean, it's illogical. It's totally annoying, immoral almost, for you to be a leader of PDP and then you are vehemently, very visibly and almost fanatically fighting for Tinubu's reemergence, which is unfair for a PDP. You have to make a choice. But you can't be in the party, claim leadership, sit and appoint leaders, and at the same time, all you want to do is make sure that your party fails woefully at the next election. I mean, that's really tragic.
Yeah.
So
Mr. Wike says, Mr. Wike says he's fighting for what he calls due process within the PDP. Doesn't he have the right?
That's nonsense.
No, doesn't he have a right to
let me
stand on that cause?
No, listen, it's very simple. I mean, sometimes the media doesn't push back. The guy holds his talk every time. What's due process? How can you be a leader of a party? The essence of political parties to win the election. The big prize in Nigerian politics is the presidency. And they won. You said this year, PDP will not fight for presidency. Then you should put their membership in abeyance. So anything about I'm fighting for due process is a cop-out. The reason why PDP exists or any party in Nigeria is to contest and win presidency.
Okay.
And the leader of that party tells you that this particular election, we want to lose and lose woefully to Tinubu. Okay. Why not go and join Tinubu after they lose and they come back? Those who want to fight Tinubu, you try to hamstring them, say due process. So the point I'm making is this, is that it's in public interest that there should be a contest in 2027.
All right, let's go to...
So for me, if they can expel him, it probably is a deserved. He should or suspect. He should ease that for the party and fight for the president. Maybe after 2027, he can come back. It's really immoral to be fighting for Tinubu and holding down a party.
All right, we'll come to you, Dr. Amadi, to answer the question, because some governors ran to the space of social media to say, oh, we're not part of this expulsion. But let's bring in Mr. Anyogo. Talk to us about the legality of the absence of this convention now, since we witnessed the absence of the INEC at the convention. They were not there. So speak to us. So is this convention and the decision made there, are they binding, especially the expulsion?
Well, for me, it is quite unfortunate, even as a very key player in the judiciary, that at this moment we are still having conflicting court orders. You know, you can recall that there are 2 federal high court orders stopping that convention. And there's another high court order, a state high court order in Ibadan, in Oyo State, upholding the holding of that convention. These are clearly cases of conflicting court orders. And so of course, we are looking forward to a lot of litigation that eventually should end up at the Supreme Court. So the convention will be sanctioned, will be a court-sanctioned outcome. Unfortunately, that is how it's going to be. But then, just like my colleague said, a properly constituted convention is a higher decision organ of any political party. So decision thereat is binding on all organs of the party.
Whether INEC is present or not?
But the question is this: was that convention properly constituted? Was it legal? It is. The answer will not be straightforward yes or no at this point, because there are 2 conflicting court orders, court of coordinate jurisdiction. So we are looking at the Court of Appeal and, of course, ultimately at the Supreme Court to come out with a final decision.
Okay,
let me just come in. We are still having conflicting court orders in Nigeria.
Okay, so, Sir Leonard, because the key question is this. You're a lawyer. You must have looked at the PDP constitution, and we know about the Supreme Court judgment, which says matters of parties are internal affairs. We heard the lawyer of the, we had the newly elected National Publicity Secretary of the PDP there, the lawyer, Emma Bong, who says, look, the responsibility of the party is to serve INEC notice. That if INEC comes, it doesn't come, it doesn't matter. Is that the position of the PDP's constitution and the law?
I agree totally. We have had a decision, even up to the Supreme Court, that once INEC is served the relevant notice, INEC must not be there. Okay. If they don't attend that convention, it will not make the convention void. Okay. Especially when the relevant notices have been given to INEC. The law stipulates that you should give INEC the notice. But you cannot compel INEC to supervise your convention. If you have done what the law requires, in this case, you have notified INEC. So whether they come or not, the law will be on the side of PDP. But like I said, the other orders for the Federal High Court stopping that convention will be tested at the Court of Appeal and the Supreme Court eventually. Okay,
we would like to wrap up our conversation with our 2 guests, 2 of them lawyers, Dr. Sam Amadi, who is also a policy and public affairs analyst, and Sir Leonard Anyogo, also a lawyer. Thank you so much, sirs, for giving us your perspective on the AIT News Hour.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, you're welcome.